Heineke, a little sidearm to Algier with runner or blockers in front. And look at Tyler Algier breaking free and down the near sideline at the 10, the 5, and a touchdown. My goodness.
Inside the Nest, an Atlanta Falcons audio experience. Here is your host, Craig Green.
Touchdown Atlanta.
An ugly game in uglier weather. Wings clipped, tarred, and feathered. The Falcons had chances, none came to fruition. The only path to the playoffs now is to win the division. Welcome inside the Nest. I'm your host, Craig Green. Let's get into it. Shout out to the Atlanta Falcons radio network for the audio of Tyler Algier's 75-yard catch-and-run TD pass from Taylor Heineke against the Bears this past Sunday. That was the best thing that happened to the Falcons all game long in my mind, as the Falcons dropped a stinker to the Bears in Chicago at Soldier Field by the score of 37-17 in the wind, in the snow, in the cold. Let's take a look at the injury updates for Atlanta. Caleb McGarry was back for the Falcons in Chicago. No one else who missed any practice during the week was out for the game, so the Falcons were pretty healthy coming into Chicago for the most part. It was the first time they had their entire starting offensive line in a few weeks. So that was something that we thought would bode well for the Falcons. Ended up not, as they were basically beat up and pushed around the field for most of the afternoon. Mike Hughes, the cornerback, he left with a concussion. In this game, he didn't return, and neither did Drew Dahlman, who hurt his ankle late in the game. DeMarco Helms, the rookie safety from Alabama, he's also in concussion protocol due to concussion symptoms that he was feeling after the game. It was something that the team had identified as they made their way back to Flowery Branch. All right, so let's take a quick look at the stats from this contest. Again, the final score, 37-17 in favor of the homestanding Chicago Bears. They improved to 7-9 on the season. The Falcons dropped to 7-9. They clinched their sixth consecutive losing season, third straight under Arthur Smith. So in terms of team statistics, first downs, 22-15 Chicago. Third down efficiency, 6 of 16 Chicago, 4 of 13 Atlanta. Advantage Bears. Bears were 1 of 2 on fourth down. Falcons were 0 of 1. Went for it on a 4th and 17 and was intercepted. Total plays ran 72-59 Chicago. Total yards 432-307 Chicago. Yards per play 6 to 5.2 in favor of Chicago. Passing yards 240-173 Chicago. See the theme here? Rushing yards 192-134 Chicago. Here's the biggie. Red zone 4 of 5 Chicago, Falcons 0 of 1. Penalties 1 for 15 versus 5 for 55, advantage Atlanta. Turnovers, here's the other biggie, 0-4 in favor of Chicago. Possession 37-14 to 22-46 Chicago. And this game was sold out at Soldier Field. Paid attendance announced 61,752. So super no vacancy, as you would say. The line 2.5 in favor of the Bears. The over under 39.5. So again, if you took the home team to cover and you took the over, guess what? You made a little change in your pocket this day. Taking a look at the Falcons' individual stats, let's just tell you right now, it wasn't very good. Taylor Heineke, 10 of 29, 163 yards passing. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, was sacked twice for a loss of 7 yards, a quarterback rating of 26.1. Desmond Ridder came in relief in the fourth quarter after Taylor Heineke had suffered an ankle ailment. Ridder went 3 of 4 for 17 yards, was intercepted once, and had a passer rating of 42.7. Yeah, better than Heineke, but still that interception really tanked it into the toilet. Bijan Robinson, 15 carries, 75 yards. Taylor Heineke, 4 carries, 46 yards, and a 24-yard rushing touchdown. Tyler Algier on the ground, 5 carries, 13 yards. Leading receiver for the Falcons was Algier. He had that 1 catch for 75 yards and the touchdown. Drake London had the most receptions for the team, 4 catches, 56 yards on 10 targets. Van Jefferson and Bijan Robinson both had 3 catches. Jefferson 19 yards, Bijan 11 yards. Michael Pruitt, Kyle Pitts each caught 1 pass apiece for 14 and 5 yards respectively. Kadero Hodge and Jonnu Smith were targeted but did not make any receptions. And on the defensive side of things, Jesse Bates led the team in tackles. He had 11 tackles, 9 solo, had 1 tackle for loss. Caden Ellis, 9 tackles, 6 solos, had a sack, a QB hit, and a tackle for loss. DeMarco Helms, 6 solo tackles on the game. Falcons only deflected 2 passes. They were unable to really affect the pass attack of Justin Fields and DJ Moore. Mike Hughes and Arnold Ebiketie each deflected passes. 3 sacks on the day. Lorenzo Carter had 1. Ellis had a sack, and then Bud Dupree and David Onyemata split a sack together. But again, on terms of the kicking, Younghoe Koo did not have his best game. The elements played somewhat of a factor. He was a 1 of 3 on field goals. He did hit a 38-yarder, made both of his extra points for 5 points on the day. Bradley Pinion, 3 punts, 128 yards, averaged 42.7 a punt, long punt of the day, 45 yards. But again, this game put the Falcons in a win and get help or go home situation this Sunday in New Orleans as they take on the New Orleans Saints. The situation, we'll break it down right now for you for the NFC South. So 3 teams can win the NFC South championship this Sunday at 1 o'clock. So we have the Panthers and the Buccaneers. That game will take place in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium at 1 o'clock. In New Orleans, the Saints will host the Falcons at the Superdome. Again, that game is on 1 o'clock. Ironically, guess who's on the call for that game? You guessed it, Matt Ryan. So here's the situation. If the Buccaneers win, they will win the NFC South. The Falcons would be eliminated, win or lose. If the Buccaneers lose to the Panthers, so if the Panthers win this game, the winner of the Falcons and Saints will win the NFC South. That is correct. So basically, the NFC South title is on the line at the same time in 2 different places, in New Orleans and in Charlotte. So, but again, even if the Falcons win and Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay will still move on. The Falcons will be eliminated regardless. Now, the Saints can still make the playoffs as a wild card if they win, even if Tampa Bay wins. If the Saints win and they get some help with losses by the Seahawks and by the Packers, then the Saints would get in as a wild card as the number 7 seed. So a lot on the line this weekend, not only for both teams in New Orleans, but also for the Buccaneers in Charlotte, because if they drop the ball, there's a very good chance they could be eliminated altogether and miss the playoffs after winning 4 out of the last 5 games. So let's get into the good from the Falcons game against the Bears. I'll tell you what. The ground game, I guess. I mean, they did run 24 carries, 134 yards, 5.6 yards a pop, but not much else went right for the Falcons in Chicago except for the plane started at O'Hare and landed safely in Atlanta. Tyler Allgeier's 75-yard catch and run was easily the highlight of the game for the Falcons. Really nothing else to highlight that was good for them. This was just a total butt kicking that they took from the Bears. Let's see, the bad, literally everything. The Bears pushed the Falcons around from Jump Street. Younghoe Koo missed 2 long field goals in the snow because the offense wasn't effective enough to get him in the red zone. He also had 4 turnovers, 3 by Heineke, 1 by Ritter in garbage time, 4 for 13 on third down. The defense once again allowing a quarterback to escape sacks to run for first downs on more than one occasion. Justin Fields was dead to right twice in this game, both of them on third downs. The Falcons cannot wrap him up. He escapes, runs for first downs, keeps drives going that get the Bears points. Poor coverage on DJ Moore the whole ball game. The Bears had 1 downfield receiving threat to cover in Moore, and they still couldn't do it. The run defense allowed Khalil Herbert to get 100-plus yards with just 18 carries, and because the Rams and Packers won and the Falcons lost, Atlanta no longer qualifies for a wild card spot. But despite this ugly loss, there's still a way for the Dirty Birds to continue playing in January, as we already highlighted. So, again, it comes down to Falcons win, Panthers win, the Falcons are in. So what's coming up next here? The Saints on Sunday in New Orleans, 1 o'clock on CBS. And as we already highlighted, Matt Ryan will be on the call with CBS for this game. So unfortunately, he won't be able to come down to the booth and save us. He'll have to just watch. He'll have to be a witness like the rest of us at home and just see how everything unfolds. So again, we've highlighted how the Falcons can win the NFC South. It's a Falcons win and a Buccaneers loss. That's all it takes. Asking the Buccaneers to lose in Charlotte to the Panthers, it's a tall order, but, I mean, ask the Falcons. The Panthers can beat anybody on any given day. So we'll see what Carolina team trots out onto the field. Will they play their starters? Will they rest guys? Will they mail it in and have the plane going for their vacations? Or are they trying to go off on a winning note and really trying to ruin the Buccaneers' playoff chances and their division title hopes? I'll take a look at the Saints statistics coming into this game. So, of course, the Saints are led by Derek Carr, who has passed for 3,600 yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Led in rushing by Alvin Kamara, 180 carries, 694 yards in the season, 5 touchdowns. Chris Olave, 84 catches, 1,064 yards, 4 touchdowns. So we will see how this game plays out. The Saints, out of the last 5 games, the Saints are 3-2. They've won 3 of the last 4. They dropped a close game to the Rams, 30-22 in Los Angeles on Thursday night. They've beat Carolina, they beat the Giants, and then just got a big win against the Buccaneers to put them in the position to win the NFC South on Sunday. Falcons have lost 3 of the last 4 games, are 2-3 in their last 5. Their last win, of course, 29-10 at home over the Colts. That was a win that basically saved their season and put them in the position that they're in now. So we'll take a look. We'll see who's available for this game. You know, the Saints had some questionable folks. They had Alvin Kamara questionable. We'll see if he can play or not. Out for the Saints, Landon Young and Lonnie Johnson. And for the Falcons, Drew Dahlman, the center, will be out this Sunday against the Saints. DeMarco Hellams is also out, as is Troy Anderson, who is coming back from IR and was cleared to practice. However, he will also be out. Zach Harrison is questionable with a knee injury. Taylor Heineke, the quarterback, questionable with an ankle injury. If he can't go, obviously it will be Desmond Ridder to start against the Saints. But this game is a game the Falcons have to have. I mean, if you want to make the playoffs, this is your last chance to do it. All right, so we will call it good right there. Want to thank everyone, as we always do, for borrowing your ears for this Atlanta Falcons audio experience. Like to invite you to follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, Snapchat, YouTube, and Threads at Craig G Sports. Please like, share, subscribe, download this podcast, and then after you share it again with any Falcons fans that you know. We will be back shortly after the Saints game with a recap of that game, and hopefully we are talking about the NFC South champion Atlanta Falcons and who they'll be playing in the wild card weekend of the playoffs, as opposed to talking about either A, Falcons loss, or B, a Falcons win plus a Bucs win, which eliminates the Falcons regardless. So fingers crossed that the Falcons can pull it off and that the Queen City Kitties can pull a minor upset and defeat the Bucs with a banged up Baker Mayfield. So again, folks, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you very, very soon. And Happy New Year to everyone out there. And also, quick shout out to my sister Marcy. We are recording this on January 5th. It is her birthday. So Marcy, if you're listening, happy birthday. And we'll see everybody next time after the Saints game. Until then, this is your guy CG. Sayonara and buenos noches.